Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video, and this one is all about the viewing system, the camera viewing system in Microsoft Flight Simulator for the Xbox versions using the keyboard and the game controller. I'm going to show you how you can look around the cockpit and external views as well using their predefined views, and how you can also set up some custom views like this and then look around them with clicks of your keyboard or your game controller. It's going to be quite a complex video, so I've divided it into different sections. Check the timeline below for the specific subject and part that you would like to look at. So let's not mess around, let's get on with this video. Okay, so for this first section, I'm going to show you how you can change your default view, your height and vertical position and horizontal position by default in the aircraft. I'm using the gamepad for this first part, so I'm going to press the pause button on my gamepad. Using my left analog stick to control my cursor here, going to go to General Options, press A. In General Options, go to Camera, press A. And it's these two tabs here, height and horizontal position. Now you can see it's a bit blurred out, but you can just about see the cockpit behind this menu. So if I start messing around, put your cursor over the height tab and use your right analog stick to start altering that. As you can see just behind the menu, my height is increasing in the cockpit. Let's try that. And go down to horizontal position using my cursor, and I'll alter my horizontal position to there. That'll do. I'm going to press Y to apply and save. Go back and resume. And as you can see now, my default position, if I reload that flight, so X to restart, continue. Give this just a second. Thankfully, with the recent updates, it's very quick, as you see. As you can see now, my default view has changed. If I restart the simulator, I'm not going to do it, that takes a bit longer, but this will be my default view now from now on in all aircraft. Keep that in mind. If you've made changes and you don't like them, press your pause button, go down to General Options, we'll go down to Camera, press your A button. As you can see there, X resets to default, so press your X button on the controller. It will say all values will be reset to default values. Yep, that's okay. Press continue, apply and save, go back. You're now back to your default view. So that's how you would change your default view in the cockpit. Let's go on. Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to show you, I'm in the A320 obviously at the moment, how we can go between the pre-set up, predefined instrument views in your aircraft. Like I said, I'm in the A320 because it's an excellent aircraft to show off these different instrument views. I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to press my pause button on my controller. Using the left analog stick, go down to Control Options and press your A button. Now, I heavily advise using a keyboard to do this. If you want to select between each instrument view, like I showed you, you can do it by controller, but it's going to be a heck of a lot of setup to set up individual instrument views. On the keyboard here, I'll show you the keyboard options or buttons that you have to press. Make sure your keyboard is selected, so press your A button on keyboard, it's on default. Go to Camera, select that by pressing A. Under Camera you want to go to Instrument Views, press your A button. These are the different key keyboard combinations you need to press. You can redefine these on the keyboard as well, which is slightly easier if you want to. I find these okay personally. But holding down your left controls and numbers 1 to 0, I'll show you a graphic image on screen for that. So holding down left control and numbers 1 to 0 will take you between those different instrument views. Let me show you this in practice. Go back, resume. I'll press Control and 1. That will take me down to my bottom left CDUs or panels. Press Control and 1 again, by the way, will take you back to your default view. Control and 8. This is quite an interesting one. It will take you to the overhead panel. Control, holding down left control and 7, will take me down to my engine starters and parking brake. Left control and 6 will take me to my throttle, and so on. Control and 5, left control and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you want to jump to an instrument view quickly, just holding left control, my overhead panel, left control on 8, I can jump to that instantly by using the keyboard. You can do this somewhat with the game controller. By default, I'm using my default, let's go to my control options, the default setup on the controller. By default, let's go back now into the simulator. If you hold down your left bumper button and hold down your, press your D-pad down twice, it will take you to your first instrument. Again, holding down your left bumper and pressing right on your D-pad will take you to your next instrument view. Left bumper pressing right will take you to your next instrument view, or it should do. Don't mess around now. Oh, it does this sometimes. As you can see, it's a bit awkward using the gamepad. There's my next instrument view, my next, by holding down left button and right on the D-pad. See, it's a bit awkward. It can actually just be a bit jittery using the gamepad. That's why I totally advise using the keyboard for this. You can just about do it. It's a bit jittery, like I said, in the A320. There's the previous by ear. I wouldn't advise using the gamepad. That's the kind of results you will get. But using the keyboard, you can certainly do it quite easily. And pressing left control and your desired instrument view, you can simply jump to it. Let's go on to my next tip, which can be useful with the gamepad as well. Okay, so for this next tip, I'm going to show you how you can jump between custom views that you set up on the keyboard. Like this. These are a couple of the custom views that I've set up. And you can jump between them. So let's show you how to do this. Let's get back to my normal view. I'm going to go to options. Using my gamepad, left analog stick, go to control options. Heavily recommend for this part using the keyboard, but I'm going to show you it is possible with the controller and works okay with that too. But for setting up the custom views, definitely recommend the keyboard for this. We'll go down to make sure we're on keyboard. You'll see the keyboard picture here. Go to camera. Press your A button there. Cockpit camera. Press your A button there. Scroll down and you'll see these options. Save custom camera 1 to 9. And the combination here, I'll show you a graphic on screen. It's holding down left control, left alt on the keyboard, and pressing numbers 1 to 9, you can save a custom view by pressing those keyboard combinations. Let's go back to the simulator and let's show you this in practice. Also on the keyboard, I'll show you another graphic image on screen. Using your cursor keys, you can move around the cockpit. So let's do this. I'll press my right cursor key. I'll move right. Pressing my up cursor key will move me up. And pressing down will move me down. Left will obviously move me left. Holding down your left shift I'll show you a graphical image on that. I'm pressing your cursor keys. So left shift and pressing the cursor keys will pan your view left or right. So hold down left shift and move your cursor keys left, right, up, down. It will pan your view. It will keep you in the same position, but pan your view in the various directions. Let's get a nice instrument sort of view here going. That will do nicely. So I'm going to hold down left control, left alt and 1. I'll use my gamepad to get me back to my default view. Now pressing your left alt button and 1, I'll show you a graphical image of that on screen as well. So left alt and 1 will now take me to that custom view I've just set up. Pressing left alt and 1 again will take me back to my default view. So there you go, that's the view I've just set up. Let me set up another view. I'll just pan my view up. I want to get this bottom part of the overhead panel. That's perfect. So I'm going to press Control Alt and 2. Let me show you another graphical image on screen of what I'm doing. So holding down left Control Alt and 2, I've now saved that to my second custom view. Reset my cockpit view. I'll press now Alt and 2 on my keyboard. I'll show you a graphical image of that so you can follow along. So Alt and 2 will now take me to that second custom view I've just set up. Alt and 1 will take me to that previous one. Alt and 2 will take me to the one I've just set up. Alt and 2 again will take me to my default cockpit view. That's how you do it via the keyboard. Let me show you how you can do this on the game controller. Okay, so setting custom views using the gamepad only. I don't know what that warning is. Game servers are currently unreachable. I'll keep that in the recording if this records okay, because I've had that message a couple of times today. Never mind. Using the gamepad only. Let's go to options first. Press your pause button. I don't recommend doing it this way, but I'm going to show you it is possible. Go to control options. I'm using the gamepad here. Ensure your game controller is selected. Left click on controller up here to make sure that is selected, so we're looking at the right thing. Go to your camera. Use your cursor to go to camera. Press A and cockpit camera. A again. It's these two things, save custom camera and load custom camera. So these two options here that we're interested in. So save custom camera, pressing your left bumper button and B, it looks like, together. So hold down your left bumper rather and then press B. That will save a custom camera. And holding down your left bumper, which one is it now? There it is. Holding down your left bumper and pressing Y will load in the custom camera. Let me show you this in practice. I won't go into too much depth in this because this is the second or third time I'm recording this because it keeps crashing. It does bring up a couple of bugs with the game controller when you try and do this sometimes. Just be warned, I'll try and capture that hopefully after I've recorded this part. Just as an example, I've moved my view up using my right analog stick to this part. I want to save this as my custom camera 1. Keep in mind it will overwrite any other custom camera 1 settings you set up. So my previous one I set up, this will now overwrite it. Hold down my left bumper and press B. So I've done that. I'll reset my cockpit view by clicking in my right analog stick. I'm going to hold down my left bumper and press Y. It will now take me to that custom cockpit view I've just set up. Holding down my left bumper and Y again will take me to my default view. So that's how you do it with the gamepad. I'll go a little bit further. I'm really tempting fate here because there's a lot of bugs on this part. Poor as sober, when they come to fixing bugs on the Xbox, there's a fair few, as can be expected with such a monumental release. I'm going to set up Save Custom Camera 2. It's not set up already. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to use my cursor to go over to Filter, use my right stick to put that to All, which will show me all the possible different combinations we can set up. Scroll down when you get to this page, make sure the filter's on All, showing us all the different possibilities. I'm scrolling down till I get to my Save Custom Cameras, which are here. And I'm going to set up, let's set up bumper button and X, so my left bumper and X to save custom camera. Is that right? Yeah, let's do that. So left bumper button and X for Save Custom Camera 2. So press your A button in this box here. Go to Start Scanning. Press your A button. And try and get the timing of this right. I'm going to press my left bumper and X together. So even though it's showing X and left bumper, that's fine. That'll be set up fine. Don't worry, by default, it's set up, left bumper set up on increased drone rotation and smart camera. If you're not in the drone camera or your smart camera, it's not going to affect it. So don't worry about these that are already set up. Press validate. I'm going to have to rename the profile because I was in my default profile. So I'll click on this box here. I'll just use my keyboard because it's more convenient to type in view and press enter. So I've just renamed the profile to a new profile. Press OK and press Y to apply and save that. Obviously I've got my Save Custom Camera. I want to go down to Load Custom Camera 2 because I've not got it set up. I'm going to use my left bumper and A to load in my Custom Camera 2. So press your A button on this box. Go to Start Scanning, press your A button. And remember, I want left bumper and A, hold them down together. Or press them together. Again, don't worry about these drone camera or smart camera. Unless you're in those views, that combination is not going to affect it. Press validate. Go down to validate. Press A. Press Y to apply and save. Then we can go back to the simulator. Like I said, it's more complicated on the gamepad, but this is pretty much the way you have to go about it. Let's say, for example, I want this view as my custom camera 2. I'm going to hold down my left bumper and X. I've now saved that to custom camera 2. Go back to my default view. I'm going to press my left bumper and A. And it will take me down to that custom view 2. Keep in mind, whatever view you've set up using your keyboard now, it's overwritten because you've just saved a different custom view to number 2. Remember, left bumper and Y will take me to my first custom view. Left bumper and A will take me down to my second custom view. That's how you would do it on the game controller. Like I said, I heavily recommend buying a cheap USB keyboard and doing it that way, but I'm just showing you this way for completeness. Let's go on to my next tip. Okay, so I'm going to try and get the game to do what it was doing on a simulator, to do what it was doing to me all day today, which is... oh, it's already doing it, look. There you go, how's that? Now, I can't do anything with this. It's suddenly, because I've started to mess around with the views on the gamepad, it could be because I've got a keyboard and mouse. This is one example. I can't do much. Look, the game has this simulator rather Look how slowly it's going. Seems to have crashed completely on me. So if I go back to the simulator and try and do something here, it's not allowing me to. What I can go is to options just to show you. Yep, is it crashed completely now? If I go to restart here and continue and see if this helps. Let's hope this is quick. Seems to be hanging. This is the problem, or type of problem. Ah, there you go. It's reloaded back in. Let's see if the aircraft is behaving now. Not really. It's gone back to... This is a strange one. I've not had this specific bug. But trying to set up custom views with the game controller and then switching between them can often result in things like this. The only option I have here now is to go to my home and then actually restart the simulator completely. I'll do that off camera. I'm going to have to do that to go to my next part, so just be aware there's a few bugs like this about. Okay, so I've restarted the simulator, and as I recommended before, I'll echo this again, use your keyboard for jumping in between different views and custom views and that type of thing. It's just a lot better and a lot less scary than using the gamepad, because it can lead to some oddities, as I've mentioned. Another thing I'll mention here, if you want to set up a custom view, if you've got a mouse plugged in, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel to get, so for the overhead panel, for example, if I just wanted that bottom part saved as a custom view, I can now save that as a custom view. I won't do it, but just to give you an example, the mouse can be useful as well. Let me show you some limitations of these custom views. Now, if we go to options, I'll go down to control options. I'm on the keyboard, and we'll leave it on here for the moment. I'll go to my camera. I'm still using my gamepad to actually scroll around these menus. Go to cockpit camera again. As you can see, as I showed you before, you've got these options to save custom cameras. I'm just showing you this as an example. Let's just say, for example, external camera. There's no option in external, even on filter all, to save custom cameras on the external. So if you want to get wing view and goodness knows what, I don't believe it's possible using a custom camera on the Xbox as yet. If anybody knows a way around this, please let me know. Let me go back to my cockpit and demonstrate this a little bit more. Let me just move things around on my knee so I can get this keyboard on my knee, because it's going to be better. If I scroll around using the cursor keys and try to get outside the cockpit to get a camera view, you will find the camera system will stop you leaving the cockpit area. So I'm going left and right. I'll try and go into the actual aircraft itself. It won't let me. Simply won't let me get outside the cockpit. You are stuck within the confines of the cockpit. Now, in the description, if you're on the PC version at least, you can get around this by altering some configuration files within Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator. On the Xbox, like I said, I don't think this is possible yet. But if anybody knows a way around this, leave your comments in the comments section. I don't believe there's a way around it within the actual Flight Simulator on the Xbox version. But there is an option to get some kind of wing view in the external mode. Let me show you this now. Okay, so let's show you a way around this sort of winged view on the Xbox version. What I'm going to do first, again, go to Control Options, or Options rather, then Control Options. Make sure you got the keyboard. Definitely going to use the keyboard on this part because it's tricky enough. Go to your camera menu here in Control Options, and it's the fixed camera we're interested in. I'll show you a graphical image on screen of the keyboard combinations you need to go to your different fixed cameras. It's basically left control, left shift, and numbers 1 to 9. I believe it's just 1 to 9. It is 1 to 9, and that'll toggle you between the different fixed cameras. Let me show you in practice what this does. So first, I'm going to go to my external view. I'll use my gamepad for this. Go to your little button with the two sort of squares just underneath the left of your big X on your gamepad to go to external mode. Now I've gone there, I'll go to my different fixed cameras. So left control, left shift, and 1, for example, will take me to that view. Let's go to a different one completely. Left control, left shift, and 9 will take me to some kind of wing view, as you can see. There's a bit of a caveat with this. If I press my button to get back to my cockpit now, so toggle cockpit and external, it goes to that strange view, and it doesn't seem to make sense. A way around this, let's see if it works. Go back to your left control, left shift, and 9. Press that again to get back to your default external view, and then press your button to get back, toggle cockpit external to get back into your cockpit view. That's a bit convoluted. Obviously, if I want to get to a wing view, I've first got to go to my... I'll do this completely by keyboard just to make things simple. I'll press the end key on my keyboard to go to external mode. Press control, left shift, and 9 to go to my ring view. If I want to get back to my cockpit view, I'm going to have to press left control, left shift, and 9, and then press the end button. That's a bit confusing, so let's now show you a way we can simplify this. Okay, so let's make things slightly easier on ourselves to get to that wing view. It's much a learning process for me as it is for you, this. I'll go to my options, press the pause button on my controller, go to control options, press A, ensure that your keyboard is selected. You'll see a picture of the keyboard down here, so you know that's right. Go to camera, press your A button, and fixed camera, press your A button. So it's toggle fixed camera 9, that's the wing view I showed you before. I'm going to click in this box. I can redefine this box, but you get two options. I can redefine in this box. It means I've got two options on my keyboard to get to toggle fixed camera 9. So let's choose this box. Press A. Press start scanning, A in start scanning. I'm going to press F9 for that because it's easy for me to reach. Don't worry, it's got toggle IFR cockpit mode. You're not going to be in cockpit mode, you're going to be in external mode, so it's not going to affect it, so we can validate that. Because I had my default keyboard mode up, I'm going to have to rename and create a new profile. That's okay, I'll do this quickly on my keyboard, actual keyboard. I'll type in views, press enter, and press OK. And we'll apply and save that and see what happens. Go back to the simulator. So to get to my wing view, I'm going to press the end key on my keyboard, press F9. Look, I'm in my wing view. Press F9 again, and end key, I'm in the cockpit. So if you set this up right, you can do this pretty quickly. You're in mid-flight. Press your end key, F9. You've got a wing view that you can look over. Press F9 again, and end key. It's by no means perfect. I would like to customize that view, but it's better than nothing. It's what we have at the moment. Let's continue. Let's show you a different external view, which is shift control, left shift, left control, and 5. I'll show you an image on screen. So I'm going to press that, left control, left shift, and 5. It's another nice wing view we can set up. So left shift, left control, 5, and N to get back into the cockpit. Let's make it easier on ourselves, shall we? I'm sure you've got the gist by now, but let's go through it with you. I'm going to press the pause button. Go to control options. My voice is starting to fail now, so I better make this the last option. Under keyboard, go to camera. And in fixed camera, press A. Remember, it's fixed camera 5 we want to redefine. I'm going to choose this box again next to it because there's no need to redefine that. I've got 2 options there. Press your A button. In start scanning, I'm going to choose, it's a safe button as well, I've tested it, F10. And it's next to F9, it means I can switch between the 2 views. Don't worry about the cockpit mode because you're in external mode. See specifications, that shouldn't affect it, I hope. Press validate and apply and save. Go back, go back. This is one I've not tested, so I'm doing this on the fly. Pressing my N button and F10. Yep, it's fine. Phew! And I can press F9 to get to my other fixed view. So if I'm in mid-flight, I can go between each of these different views. So it gives you some option for an external wing view. Anyway, let me take you to my conclusion and a couple of shout-outs I want to do. So there you go, that's my tutorial for setting up different views within the cockpit and externally as well. It's not perfect, I may come back in a future video to the viewing system once things improve with the simulator, and perhaps we'll even get a couple of add-ons that make things easier for ourselves. Before I finish, I want to give a few shout-outs to other channels out there that I highly rate and I watch myself. The first one is Mark at Simhanger Flight Simulation. He does some incredibly detailed videos. His presentation on his videos is second to none. Highly recommended. Lots of tips on PC Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator and the Xbox. Lots of tips and tricks. I always enjoy watching his channel. Very professional, very highly recommended. The next recommendation is a good friend of mine, Aces Down 1. Whenever he does a video, he's got a series running at the moment, from cold starts, from inspecting the aircraft to starting up. He's doing a series at the moment and it feels like he's flying the real thing. It's very eerie when you watch his videos. Feels like he's actually flying the actual, in this case, a Cessna aircraft. Absolutely incredible. He was a pilot. I don't think he's active now, but he was a real world pilot. If you want to know more about flight simulators and aircraft in general, the way they work, the in and outs of them, the detail of them, go and watch Ace's videos. They are outstanding. And my last recommendation, now for something completely different. OGDuffy, he does retro videos. Anybody following me will know that I'm a huge retro fan. Commodore 64, Spectrum, arcade machines. OGDuffy, real southern guy, he really gets into it. A good laugh. His videos are full of energy. He's a new superstar that's really just starting out, but he's the next big thing, OGDuffy. Go and watch his videos. I always have a good laugh and a good watch. It's just really good, solid presentation and entertainment. Absolute brilliant. Really recommend him. Go and check him out. The links to each of these recommendations will be in the description below. Anyway, I'll wrap up this video here. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, many more Flight Simulator videos on the way. And I'll see you soon.